Okay, go ahead, Tony.
Okay. So the first thing I wanted to ask is what would you like to say to the Pokemon community?
Oh, you got me on this one.
Really?
Look, I can only tell the Pokemon community what is really on my heart. 20 years ago, I put a ban on Uri Geller and Kadabra simply because I saw my name on a card and no one approached me to ask, "Hey Uri, is it okay to have your name on the Pokemon card?" So we won't go into the lawsuit, but Pokemon decided to pull the card away off circulation. So truly, as I said in my Twitter, I'm really sorry that I've done this. 20 years ago, my mind frame wasn't what I am today. In these last 20 years, I became a grandfather. I have two granddaughters, and people change during the years. I became softer. At those times, I was kind of on an ego trip, I would say. I was after fame and fortune, but hey, I changed, and I'm sorry for what I've done, but I've released the ban, so that's what I have to say.
That's like a really big thing you don't really expect to hear from anyone when like no one really comes out and says, I was a little egotistical, I changed. But I mean like when you hear someone say something like that, that's why I was a little upset when I saw how many people were upset at you about all of this stuff. So that's pretty cool
Yeah,
to
but
hear.
but Tony, listen. There is a very simple sentence: "Show me a successful man, and I will show you controversy." You know, there's freedom of speech. Anyone can say whatever they want. I'm not the only one in the world that is being attacked by negative thinkers, skeptics, and so on. Every sports person, every actor, every singer, every politician, you will find these terrible words on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook comments. It's that's the way it is, Tony.
Oh, I know, and my fan base probably knows. They probably heard that and they were like, this sounds a little familiar," because I've gotten a lot of negative attention, but I just move on, you know.
Absolutely. Tony, throughout my career, I've been around for 50 years. Um, the only reason you're speaking to me now is because I am controversial. The skeptics who try to debunk me and say that what I do is not real, we won't go into that, whether
Yeah.
it's real or not. But actually, the skeptics created the aura of publicity around me free of charge. I mean, the ones that spoke against me are the ones who lit the fire of controversy around Uri Geller. And that only helped my career. You know that 100 years ago, Tony, Oscar Wilde said something really powerful. He said there's only one worse thing in life than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. So, hey, to all the skeptics, thank you very much. I owe you 1,000 bouquets of flowers. Oh, and I've got to show you something. This is
Okay.
really funny. Um, to the skeptics, I actually made an award, and it's on my Cadillac. Let me pull off the award and show it to everyone. Are you ready for
Yeah.
this?
Let's see it.
Okay.
That's cool. Oh, I see it. There it is.
I'll put it on the floor. That's the award I give to those who have helped me throughout my life by trying to debunk me and all that.
Very relevant.
This is, by the way, I'm inside my museum, and if we are, my Cadillac that I bought in 1976 in New York. I basically bought it to show off. These are posters from around the world. That's the Royal Albert Hall. This is from the Olympia. That's from Sweden. And I even that's the cover of Daredevil. I met Stan Lee in the early 70s, and he was so impressed
You're dropping
by
out a
what I
little bit.
do.
It just cut out for about 10 seconds.
That's Daredevil comic.
Yeah, there we go.
When I met Stan Lee in New York, he was so impressed by my talent that he put me on the cover of Daredevil. And I'm going to send you one signed.
That is very much
Here,
appreciated.
here, here there are more sculptures. I work with Salvador Dali. The museum is not finished yet. We're still working. That's me and Dali. This is my Vespa that I bought when I was a teenager, and I gave her away in 1972, and I located her in England, and they refurbished it, the Vespa for me. That's me riding the Vespa 50 years ago.
I think
That's
what
me
this really
playing back.
shows, I think what
What?
this really, I think what this really shows is that there is a lot of entertainment behind here that, people wouldn't look at this and be like, oh, Uri Geller, he was the guy that canceled Kadabra and he's this bad fraud. Like, that's what people will say. But you've met Stan Lee. You have pictures with Salvador Dali. So it goes out beyond that other people can see kind of what you have accomplished and respect that.
Yeah, when I do interviews, I sometimes drop names. But how can I not drop names when I met these guys? Look, this is Muhammad Ali and me.
Yep.
And I trained Ali, and he gave me many of his boxing gloves. I was a good friend of John Lennon. You know why? Because at those times, in the 70s, I lived in New York on 57th Street. Hold on there.
Mm-hmm.
I lived on 57th Street, and Studio 54 was very close to my apartment. And that's where I met John Lennon and David Bowie and all these huge, Mick Jagger. And what was very interesting is that they wanted me more than I wanted to meet them, because it was kind of, hold on, I was strange. I had powers to bend spoons, and I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be a psychic superstar. What else do you want to ask me?
I wanted to ask what your reaction has been over the last couple of days as well, but you kind of answered that to where, you're seeing all this on Twitter and you're just kind of responding how you feel you need to respond.
Thousands of emails. I mean, nonstop. Most of them actually very nice, thanking me. They're calling this epic. They're calling it a Christmas miracle. I mean, you name it. The messages that I get, at least on Instagram, are very nice. Of course, you've got those guys. Here is the overall of Edgar Mitchell, who was the sixth man to walk on the moon. He was a very good friend. That's him, Edgar Mitchell, and the signature of the three astronauts.
Wow.
He was really a cool guy. He had links to the CIA, and he was instrumental in taking me out of Israel. And then I started working for the CIA after they tested my powers.
So going back to the responses, it really is the vocal minority of nastiness. Because, like, if you look, it's always going to be, like, the meanest person getting the most likes and going to the top of the Twitter feed. But it sounds like you're actually getting a lot better response. That's kind of what I wanted to bring with my video. I wanted, like, if Yuri sees my video, I wasn't expecting it, but I was just like, if he sees it, I just want him to know that I appreciate what you've done, and that my community would also appreciate it.
Thank you. And listen, my love to all of you. And believe me, there was nothing sinister behind this. There was no PR stunt. I just did what I felt I should do out of my heart. I have no agents. I have no managers. I have no. And so to all the Pokemon community, God bless you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just cut out in your big moment right there.
So to all the Pokemon community, thank you very much for your nice responses. God bless you all. And that suitcase that I opened with all the Pokemon cards, I'm actually going to make a display cabinet somewhere in here, somewhere in the museum. And I will display all these little things that I bought 20 years ago when the lawsuit was going on. So anyone who comes to Israel, it'll be fantastic to meet you in my museum.
That sounds pretty cool, actually, because it is a part of your history now, and it's a very interesting part that people would like to see. Like, when you open that suitcase on the Twitter video, everyone's just like, that's a lot of cool stuff.
Tony, I'm getting so many emails from people who want me to sign a card and send it to them. But because of COVID, I get 300 requests a week to do, to send autographs. I just simply can't do that. How can you sign 300 autographs, go to the post office, post them? It's impossible. So what I do, I basically thank them and I sent them interviews that I did with Gaia TV recently. And really, I love you all so much that I'm triple your age, Tony, and the fact is that I'm still around bewilders me. And I'll finish with this. I'll complete with this. The reason I think I'm still around, or maybe kind of still relevant, is because I'm controversial and because I managed to instill spoon bending, see the spoons, into world culture. There are movies like The Matrix with spoon bending. Incubus mentions me in their songs. George Clooney plays me in it. So that's the bizarreness, the weirdness of the spoon bending caught the world by fire. And probably though that young little boy who grew up to design the little Pokemon holding the bent spoon was influenced by me. And that is amazing. That's great. So great Christmas present to all you Pokemon lovers. I just hope that Nintendo brings back Uri Geller and Kadabra.
Okay, and last thing, which kind of like focuses into the thing that you just said at the end. Do you think you'll pay more attention to Pokemon in general in the future? Not just Kadabra, not just Uri Geller, but just kind of like seeing, hey, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. Maybe your kids or your grandkids are going to get into it, and you'll like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. Listen, for 20 years I was very silent, but now that this thing broke into the world, that the ban is lifted, of course I'll pay more attention to anything that has to do with Pokemon. And I might even get a big Pokemon creature, either the Uri Geller or Kadabra holding a bent spoon, and I'll put it right here next to John Lennon's glasses somewhere here on the wall. Listen, Tony, you are having really an exclusive interview here. I've never done this before with the Pokemon, group, but this is very interesting story. Do we have time, or are you going to edit this down?
Yeah, I have free-form content. I can just do whatever.
Okay, this is really fun. This is Yoko with her glasses. That's me, Yoko, and Sean Lennon. And here you see the National Enquirer. They managed to take a picture of Elvis Presley in the coffin. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a very bizarre and weird story about this. Larry Geller was his hairstylist. That's a sculpture up there. And here I'm going to have his Elvis's first record, which I own. Anyhow, when Larry was standing next to Elvis's coffin, he noticed that the tip of the roots of Elvis's hair were a little white. So he walked over to a police woman, and black things you put on your eyelashes. Mascara. And he took that little mascara tool and he colored Elvis's. How about this cover is that in the same National Enquirer, I was in it with unrelated story about me and my mom.
Small world.
Listen, I love you all. Tony, thank you so much. You're a really nice guy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have emailed you. But what you said in your report about me was absolutely true. Kisses to all of you. A big hug from old Jaffa from Uri Geller Museum.
That sounds great. I don't really know how else to finish. I normally have a sign off, but with something like this that's so crazy that's happening, it's kind of hard to just put a cap on it, But yeah, you got some cool stories.
Yeah, wait, before I go.
Okay.
This is a little funny. I'm going to bend the spoon for you all.
Oh,
Look at my arm. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye.
No one can disagree with that one. Have a good one.